Hi everyone and welcome back to our channel. I'm Anne from the Sussex Handmade Soap Company, and today I'm going to be showing you how we make our green clay and avocado salt bars. Salt bars seem to be having something of a surge of popularity at the moment. Everywhere you look there seems to be references to salt bars, or people asking about salt bars, or people wanting recipes for salt bars, and that is why today we thought we would show you how we make ours. We make 8 different varieties of salt bars. We love using them ourselves, our customers seem to love them, and they are incredibly popular. So let's begin by discussing what a salt bar actually is. So a salt bar is essentially a cold processed soap but made with 2 crucial ingredients, and they are a large proportion of salt. So you can use sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. You want finely ground salt, and I wouldn't use Epsom salts, and I wouldn't really use Dead Sea salt either, because they have a high mineral content which could affect the qualities of the final bar. So we just stick with regular fine sea salt. You want to make sure that it doesn't have any additives. You are looking for sea salt without an anti-caking agent, so just pure sea salt. And they are also made with a high proportion of coconut oil. In our recipe, 90% of the total oils that we are using are coconut oil. And I can see some of you now are going, hang on a minute, 90% coconut oil, is that not going to be really drying on the skin? Because typically when coconut oil is used in soap, if you use it above kind of 25–30%, it can be drying on the skin. That is combated in salt bars by using a high superfat. So in our regular soaps, we superfat anywhere between 5 and 7%. In our salt bars, we are working with a superfat of 20%. And it is that high superfat that ensures that the finished product is not going to be drying on your skin. The reason you need to use so much coconut oil, and it can't be replaced with any other oil, is that in the presence of a high amount of sea salt, the only oil that is going to give you a nice lather is coconut oil. Other oils will not give you a lather with the high proportion of salt. So in a salt bar, coconut oil is typically used at anywhere from 70% right up to 100%. As I said, we use 90. In this recipe, the other 10% oil that we are using is going to be avocado oil. We just add a little bit of extra additional oils just because it's quite nice to have another oil in there, and it does also add a certain amount of label appeal if you are going to be selling the soap. So we add in avocado to this recipe. So what kind of qualities can you expect from a salt bar? You can expect a really hard, firm, long-lasting bar of soap that's going to seem to last for absolutely ages. You can also expect a really nice, mild, gentle lather. And the lather is going to be kind of a rich, creamy lather. It's not so much bubbly, it's kind of almost lotion-like. It is a very indulgent, very lovely lather, and it is suitable for use all over the body, and you can even shave with it if you want to. It is a very versatile bar of soap to be using. And the addition of the salt is also going to mean it has got a nice, gentle exfoliating effect on the skin too. So it's going to be nice to kind of scrubbing on those rough areas of skin and just bringing a little bit of brightness to the skin. Now with today's recipe, we want to soak at below 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And the reason for that is that the addition of the coconut oil and the sea salt means that this soap could potentially heat up more than regular soaps, and it is going to be more prone to cracking. So you want to make sure that you are soaping at a nice low temperature. We go, as I say, just below 90 degrees, and that works for us. We are also going to be creating this soap in individual cavity moulds. Most of you who have seen our videos will know we tend to use loaf moulds. When it comes to making our salt bars, we always use cavity moulds, and the reason for that is that this soap is going to firm up really quickly once it is in the mould. You can use a loaf mould if you want to, but you need to be aware that your soap is going to need to be cut anywhere from 2 hours onwards. If you leave it overnight, like you might do with a regular soap, it is going to be almost impossible to cut it into individual bars the next day. And if you do manage to cut it, there is a high possibility that it will crumble and shards will come off. So if you are using a loaf mould, check on it regularly, and you could expect to be ready to actually cut it into bars from 2 hours onwards. We use cavity mould because then we don't have to worry about constantly checking on it, and we know that we can just pop these out and it'll be done, and they look good. So that is how, or why, we use the cavity moulds. So if you should watch our video today and decide that you do actually want to have a go at making these salt bars, I have linked in our description 2 links, one for the UK, one for the US, and it's a link that will take you to our page that will include all of the ingredients, with the exception of the lye, that you're going to need to create this exact soap. And we have put that together just because sometimes when you're trying to make a recipe and you see something you want to do, finding all the correct ingredients can be time consuming and it can be a bit of a pain. So our links will just take you to a list of everything you are going to need to create this soap. The lye can be bought in a regular hardware store. Just make sure that it is 100% pure lye and hasn't got any additives in it. But everything else, I say, you can click on our link to be taken to the page. And I will mention those are affiliate links as well, so if you do click on them, we will earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. Anyway, I think that is enough of an introduction, so we are going to begin making the salt bars now. So we are just gently melting down our coconut oil now. We are doing this over a very low heat because we don't want it to get too hot. And when the coconut oil has almost all melted, we are actually just turning off the heat and just allowing the residual heat to actually melt away the rest of the oil. So now we have melted our coconut oil, we are going to add in 90 grams of refined avocado oil and our 22 grams of green clay. You could weigh the avocado oil into a separate glass or jug if you are not confident of being able to pour the exact correct amount into the bowl. I'm fairly confident that I can get 90 grams out of this bottle exactly. But say that is through lots of practice and trial and error. So if need be, do weigh it into a separate jug or glass to add it in when it's completely correctly weighed. This way is a little bit risky, but it tends to work. We are up at 75 grams now, so not much left to go. 82, 84, 85, 86. 90, there we go. And I have pre-weighed the clay. We have got 22 grams of French green clay being added into the mix now. And then we are just going to use our spatula to give a little stir and work that clay into the oil mixture. And I'm doing it like this so that it disperses really nicely before we add anything else in. So now we've got our coconut oil, our avocado oil and our green clay in this pan here. And here we've got our cooled lye water. I'm just going to use this temperature gun to take the temperature of both the oils and the lye to check they are below 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And if they are, we are going to pour the lye water into the oils and bring it to a light trace. So our lye is coming up at 84 degrees, which is absolutely fine. And our oils are coming up at 86, which is also great. So I'm now going to tip the lye water into the oils. Now we just need to bring in the stick blender and bring it to a light trace. So now we have brought this to a light trace, it is time to add in the essential oils. For today's blend, we have got 22 grams of patchouli and 20 grams of distilled lime, and it gives a really beautiful scent. We actually discovered this combination because so many people were asking us for patchouli scented soaps. And patchouli on its own is a very kind of deep, intense smell, and we just wanted to kind of freshen it up a little. So we tried different citrus essential oils, and we realised that when it is mixed with lime, it creates the most beautifully unexpected, lovely scent. So patchouli and lime is a fantastic combination. So I'm going to go in with this now. And I'm just going to stir with the stick blender to incorporate it in. And I'll probably give it another quick little whiz just to thicken the tray slightly. So I've brought the batter to a medium trace now, and now it's time to add in the sea salt. I'm just going to slowly pour the sea salt in whilst stirring with the spatula. This will kind of create some bubbles and some air. That is perfectly normal. I'm just going to keep stirring with the spatula until those kind of bubbles of air that are coming up kind of stop bubbling. Once we've done this, I'm going to transfer it into a plastic jug, and the reason for doing that is to make it much easier to pour into our cavity moulds. You could pour straight from the saucepan, but I prefer transferring to a jug with a spout, and that makes pouring a heck of a lot easier. So onto the pour, and I've placed my cavity mould onto a little tray so that it makes it easier to move when I'm done. If I left it on this big block of wood, then it would be stuck there for at least the next couple of hours until it is good to pop them out. So I've put it on a tray just so I can move it out of the way when I need to, and just pouring and filling each cavity. I know that the amount I have created is going to nicely fill all 12 of these moulds. So I'm just going to work my way down, filling them all up. And this is a very satisfying pour, I have to say. The smell coming off these is absolutely fantastic, a really beautiful scent. Honestly, if you are a little bit dubious or unsure about the scent combination, just try it, just go with it, because you will be surprised. I was surprised when we first tried it, but now it is one of my favourite combinations, and I think it is also one of Wayne's favourite combinations. And I say everybody that smells it, or almost everybody that smells it, seems to love it. Now that I have filled the mould, I'm just going to give it quite a firm tap down, because that is really going to help to release any extra air bubbles, because in the salt bars there is a higher chance, or we found there to be a higher chance of air bubbles, so we give it a really good firm bash down. And that also helps to level the surface as well if your trace is a little bit thicker than mine is. We are working at a kind of medium trace today. Sometimes we are working at thicker traces, it just traces a little bit thicker. And if that happens, the extra tap down really does help to level the surface as well. So these are the finished soap bars now, ready to be put to one side. Because they're in a cavity mould, I can unmould them in a few hours, or I could wait until tomorrow and pop them out then. So we'll see how busy we are, but we will come back and we will show you them being unmoulded and show you what the finished salt bars look like. And just like that, it's 24 hours later and the soaps are ready to be unmoulded. They were actually ready for unmoulding after just a couple of hours, but we didn't quite get round to doing it yesterday, so they were perfectly fine to be left in the mould for unmoulding today. If I had unmoulded yesterday before the 24 hours was up, I would be wearing my gloves, because if you unmould sort of before the 24-hour mark, you have to bear in mind that the lye will not have been fully saponified, so the soap still could be caustic. So if you are unmoulding earlier, like if you're using a loaf mould, make sure you are wearing your gloves for unmoulding and touching the soap. But as it has been 24 hours, we are fine to do it without gloves on today. So to unmould the soap, I'm first going to just gently kind of loosen the edges of the mould around where the soap is. And I'm just kind of gently easing the edges of the mould away from the soap, and this just kind of helps it to kind of turn out that little bit easier. So I kind of just pull it, and the soap is already easily pulling away from the sides. And then I am just going to go underneath, and I'm just popping out the individual bars like so. I'm going to run through the rest of these now and get all of these just popped nicely out of the mould, and then we shall show you what they look like. So all 12 are unmoulded really nicely and they are looking and smelling great. And I really love the way that these soaps look and feel. They've almost got kind of a shine to them, and they almost look a little bit like granite or stone. They are certainly very pleasing to look at and to feel. So now we've shown you the actual soaps and how they've turned out, I'm going to show you how we actually package ours for sale. So this is how we package our salt bars for sale. We put them into a simple card box, and the actual salt bar itself we just wrap up in some plain white acid-free tissue paper, and then we had these little stickers made with the martlet, which is our little logo, just to kind of carry that branding through into the inner packaging. On the outside box we have made up just these kind of little labels to go on the front. We've obviously got also the ingredients label and whatnot on the back, but that is how we actually package our bars. It is a pretty simple way. It's pretty time consuming, I'm not going to lie. Wrapping up the individual bars and then making up the boxes and stickering everything, it does take time, but it is worth it because we've ended up with a product that we really like and our customers seem to like it too, so it's all good. So hopefully you have found today's video interesting, hopefully you have enjoyed it, perhaps you've learnt something. Do feel free to pop a comment in the comments box if you've got any questions, and if you enjoyed today's video please do give it a like. Similarly, if you do enjoy our channel please do subscribe to us because that is always really helpful. If you do want to actually purchase one of our salt bars, you can do here on our website, and you can use our discount code for 20% off as well. Thank you for watching today, and we shall see you next time for something else. Bye for now.